Hello, my name is Logan, and I will be introducing our company, Mind and Body Therapy, a hybrid sports psychology and physical therapy clinic. Our location would be in Monument, Colorado. It has a population of 8,000 people, and it's roughly 1,800 people per square mile. The median age for Monument is 35, and the median household income is $103,000 a year. 51% of the people there have a bachelor's degree or higher. It's also in a unique location. It's 10 minutes away from Colorado Springs and the Air Force Academy, 45 minutes from Aurora, and 60 minutes from Denver, both of which are very heavily populated areas. Our mission statement at Mind and Body Therapy is we will provide rehabilitation for injured athletes as well as help them regain mental strength to help them progress further in their sport. This area needs a place like a sports psychology and physical therapy hybrid clinic because of the central location to places like Colorado Springs, which houses the Olympic Training Center, and also places like the Air Force Academy, where there are people in very high stress environments and high stress jobs that also need sports psychologists to help them perform at their highest level. It's not just athletes that need mental health care, it's also people that are in situations where they will be very stressed out, such as surgeons, firefighters, police officers. All those people also need to function at their highest capacity under times of stress, much like an athlete does. So in a place like Colorado, where there are surgeons and doctors and firefighters, and also people in the military, it provides a good opportunity for us to serve the people there and provide them with quality health care that they won't be able to find anywhere else. Some of our goals for our company is to have 2 locations by June of 2025. We also want to have a local commercial by February of 2021 so that people that are in the area, that if they watch local TV, they'll be able to see a commercial of our clinic and see how unique our office is and the ways that we can provide for our clients. We'll also have a goal of having a full staff of 4 other physical therapists or psychologists by December of 2020, preferably 2 sports or 2 clinical psychologists and 2 physical therapy assistants. So our services that we will offer are health screenings for people that are starting sports in high school, if they need any physicals to make sure that they are up to par within their physical health, make sure that there is nothing underlying that is going to put them in harm's way. We also will do health screenings for people such as Boy Scouts that are going to campouts. There's a requirement for them to receive physicals from healthcare providers, and we'll be able to do that. We also have an initial mental aptitude test, which is unique. It's a 20-question survey on a scale of 0 to 5 in situations where people are in situations, and just to see how people would react. There will be a mix of both examples of high stress or situations or situations at home, where we as a therapist will be able to see that and know where their strengths are mentally and also how to help them mentally as well. Where it will be an outpatient clinic where people that come out of surgery will be able to come to our clinic and receive the care that they need to help them get back on their feet, help them to function at 100% or close to. We'll also be able to provide sports therapy sessions where we discuss things like goal setting and other therapeutic approaches to overcome any mental health blocks that people have. A good part of sports is all mental, and we're starting to see that now in the way that NFL teams are starting to employ sports psychologists. It's a requirement now for each NFL team to have at least 1 psychologist on hand to help the players in any situation where they would be feeling depressed or any other mental health illness. This is our budget for our clinic. Our cost of equipment is usually high in January because that's when we will purchase it all outright. We have the prices of all of our services, and we anticipate to be in the red as most small businesses do by the end of our first year, assuming this would start in January of 2020. Our peak times would be in the summer and in the fall and the winter because people are beginning sports, they're going on camping trips, they're also in the middle of getting injured. Unfortunately, injuries are a part of sports, and high schoolers are of no exception to that, especially high school girls and their ACL tears and different situations where they are put into physical therapy. By the end of April or May of 2021 or the next year is when we anticipate to break even or be in the black. This is a job description for a clinical psychologist, which we will have on hand. A short summary is included. As a clinical psychologist, you're responsible for the mental care of your clients, and they'll aid in supporting clients in making goals and overcoming obstacles and improving their performance as athletes. As a clinical psychologist in this sort of situation, our goal is to get people to 100% mentally so that they can go and perform at a high level. A description, some of the highlights that a clinical psychologist will need to do is they'll always be constantly learning. They'll always need to be getting recertifications, taking classes to be up to date on the current ways to help people mentally. They'll also need to do a lot of follow-upping with our patients, because if somebody is held accountable by another person, then they're more likely to achieve a certain goal or a certain task. Some of the positions and compensations that we have a sports psychologist, physical therapist, physical therapy assistant, clinical psychologist, and one receptionist. The compensations for a sports psychologist and physical therapist are pretty similar. They'll both receive 3 weeks of paid vacation, about $70,000 to $75,000 a year, which is slightly more than a sports psychologist and physical therapist would make in the state of Colorado. Our receptionist is the only one that will be paid hourly, and they'll be paid about $11 an hour, and they'll be able to receive bonuses, performance-based raises, and be able to have a 1 week paid vacation that carries over, and then they'll be able to add every year a 1 week. If they don't use it, that caps out at 3 weeks a year. This is an example of an evaluation sheet. Some of the things that we look for is patient interaction, cleanliness, patient outcomes, trustworthiness, integrity, appearance, teamwork, and leadership. Those aren't the only things that we're looking for, obviously, but these are the main ones that we believe will help an employee at our clinic, Mind and Body Therapy, to achieve great results for our clients and also to improve themselves as well. And our goal really as a company is to help clients, but also to help our employees be the best person they can be as well. Some of our marketing techniques that we have, the month of January, our theme is having winter fun, where we will have a radio ad, we'll give out keychains, we'll also be sponsoring a 5K to help people start off the year right with their New Year's resolutions. We'll also be able to sponsor a ski trip where people will carry around our logo, be able to see what we're about, and it will also be a great opportunity for us to bond as a group in this small business that we just started. February, our month will be heart healthy lifestyle. Things like billboards, free AKG readings, and heart-shaped stress balls will help get the word out there that we care about cardiovascular health. And we'll also start a goal of sponsoring a track club because a whole part of avoiding heart disease is running and cardio, and starting off at a young age can be very beneficial for people later on. On the month of March, our theme will be 8 hours a day, where we will encourage our clients and people that we meet to get 8 hours of sleep a day. One of the ways that we can do that is by putting a PSA in the mail. Remember to get 8 hours of sleep in from your friends at Mind and Body Therapy. Another great thing that we can offer is a clinic on how sleep can improve athleticism and performance. Here's an example of a flyer that we would put around at colleges, we'll put around the community, and really, sleep and performance at Mind and Body Therapy would be a very good way for people to understand what we're about, because much like concussions plague the NFL, a lot of NBA players like LeBron James talk about how sleep deprivation is their concussion. They're struggling out with sleep deprivation because they're always working, they're always on the road and always traveling, and they're not able to get the sleep that they need to be healthy and to function at a high level. And so this will help get us on the radar, help us to let our clients and our potential clients know that we know what we're talking about. Some emergency procedures that we have is if somebody goes into cardiac arrest, we'll have immediately someone call 911 and have somebody else start CPR, have another person retrieve an AED, and we'll continue to do that until the first responders arrive on scene. It'll be our receptionist's responsibility to take our clients and escort them out the building or to the lobby, depending on where it is. And as the first responders arrive, then we'll begin writing down everything that happened. We'll begin documenting the name, what they were doing at the time of arrest, so that way the people at the hospital know what happened and if there are any underlying issues, so they'll be able to find those. Another emergency procedure is a fire. We'll have an individual pull a fire alarm, and then we'll also have a receptionist again lead people out of the building, out of harm's way, and across the street. We'll have the receptionist also call 911 as we continue to get people out. And as the first responders arrive again, we'll begin taking account of all the employees and all the clients that were in the building at the time to make sure we didn't leave anybody behind. And then we'll have the head physical therapist or psychologist write an incident report for our insurance purposes. Some examples of our forms: we have a health history questionnaire, which is very important to know if there is anything that is underlying for an individual, so that we know the best way to serve them and what to avoid so that we don't put them in harm's way. This is also a Part Q, another example of a form that we will have. A physical activity readiness questionnaire talks about smoking history, talks about cardiovascular health, and talks about any cancer. So that way, again, we know what this individual is able to do or what they can't do in terms of physical therapy. And another Part Q, continued. We'll also have a consent form. This is an example of a consent form that a psychologist would give their client. It talks about how they understand the complexities of mental health, and the person receiving the care is aware that no individual is the same, that their care is going to be uniquely tailored to them to help them in any struggles that they have. It lets them know that the psychologist or the therapist is not able to share or divulge any information outside of their visits. It also talks about how if the client were to divulge anything that is harmful to themselves or harmful to others with the intent to harm, then the therapist is required by law to report that to proper local authorities, because we don't want anybody getting hurt of anything that can be prevented. And then slot places for the client name, client signature, and things to sign. Some examples of equipment that we'll have are treadmills, exercise balls, ultrasound machines, and balance boards for the therapy. To best help them, we want the highest quality supplies. Because money is temporary and our client's physical health is forever. So we're trying to help them to get back to 100% or close to as quick as possible. Because we don't want them to spend more time in our office than is possible. I know it sounds kind of backwards, but the less people that we have in our office, the better. Another example of some equipment that we have is muscle stim therapy machines and ice packs for people that are, again, going through physical therapy that need that. An example of our floor plan I will have, very simple. And that concludes the presentation. So really, all we're at about at Mind and Body Therapy is helping people both physically and mentally to be the best person they can be and to overcome the stress of everyday life. Thank you.